Alright, what I'm working on today, guys, is a 2013 TriPac APU. I think it's the first year of the Evolution. It's got the old control panel in it, but it's an Evolution with an Evolution board, but it doesn't have the laptop hookup. What I was having an issue with is sometimes it'd run perfectly fine. Sometimes it would crank up, but the fuel pump wouldn't be running, so you'd lose prime. But other times the fuel pump would be working perfectly fine. Sometimes it would crank up and run for 30 seconds and turn off for 30 seconds. Sometimes it would try to crank up and you would hear the fan come on for 5 seconds and then it would shut off. So I went around and did the normal stuff you're supposed to do. Check every connection, check all the grounds, check all the power, check every fuse, clean them off, put it all back together, check your volts here at the battery and at the computer board, and all that stuff was checking out, you know, other than these fuse blocks looking, you know, pretty worn out. So I'm going to replace this one that goes right there, and I'm going to replace the one on the battery box. This one's a 200 amp one, that other one's a 50 amp one. So I've already replaced that. Clean all that stuff up. Sometimes people miss, there's a ground, this is a ground here that comes down and goes to the floor, which is not a good, it doesn't make a good ground. That metal's really, really thin. I've had that issue in the past where I had already ran a bolt through there and then ran another ground wire all the way up to the battery box for a good ground. That solved my no start issue last time. But what it turned out to be is when it was trying to crank up, sometimes I would come over here and listen on the ECM board, because I've had one of these go bad about 12 years ago. These relays can go bad and you can't remove these relays. They're soldered in, and unless you're I can't do it. I'm not good enough to take stuff like that apart and put it back together. So what it would do is you'd hear these things clicking like crazy, and then it would stop, and then they'd click like crazy and it'd stop. So I ended up taking a screwdriver and tapping them a few times, and then guess what? Started running again. It'd be fine for a few days, then we'd be back to the same issue. The last time I tried to tap it, the starter actually got engaged and would not disengage unless you pulled the power or pulled the fuse. This is the fuse for the starter right there. And if you put that fuse back in, even if the control panel was off, it was just sending power to the starter to engage. It still wouldn't crank up because the fuel pump wouldn't come on. So this board went bad. These things are like $2,000 from Thermo King and like $1,500 from APU Center new ones. People are asking, you know, $1,200, $1,300 for used ones on eBay and stuff. But if you go onto eBay and type in a TriPac APU repair, there is a guy out of Kentucky, 100% satisfaction, and he does them for, you know, $500 to $700. Mine was $695 all in. He replaced what needed to be replaced, did some other preventive maintenance on it, and it works perfectly fine now. Put it back in and works perfectly fine. I'm just going around and fixing all the checking all the cables and stuff as preventive maintenance because I got the day off. So but yeah, so that's the way to do it. And so if you have one of these going bad, you can kind of tell when these relays are kind of making a bunch of on and off noises, you know. So and if you know how to do the work, maybe you can figure it out yourself. There's the relay number. You might have to read it upside down. But yeah, so this unit's got like 28,000 hours on it or so. So I use it. The truck never idles, and it never idled with the last company. So so it's been a good unit, but I'm trying to make it last a little bit longer without having to buy something else. So all right, well, hopefully this would help somebody out, and good luck, guys.